Hello and welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for October of 2023. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas, and I'm in San Francisco, California.
Let's take a look at what's happening this month. Well, Taurus, I want to start with Pluto this month. Pluto is traveling along through Capricorn and is really almost done with Capricorn. Pluto's an extremely slow-moving planet with an overall orbit of about 245 years. So naturally, his passage along any particular sign is going to be quite slow. Pluto has been traveling through Capricorn and your ninth house for a good 15 years. And this is the last year of this Capricorn passage for Pluto. Pluto is going to move on into Aquarius in January 2024. And believe me, we'll be telling you all about that when it happens. We've already posted a bit about it on the blog at pandoraastrology.com, but that will be cause for great interest when it happens. But that's then, and this is now. And Pluto, in finishing out Capricorn, should be bringing some rather intense experiences before he's done. Now, Pluto is the Lord of transformation and metamorphosis, and in moving through Capricorn, he's been transforming Capricorn things, such as authority, such as hierarchies, such as corporations and government. And Pluto is in Capricorn is absolutely responsible for the Me Too movement that's been, really shaking up authority figures everywhere. And as Pluto moves through your ninth house, you find that this impacts you in the arena of your life philosophy, your approach to the world, your worldview, if you will. This is the house of the seeker. This is the house in which we discover resilience by weathering difficult experiences and expanding our worldview or philosophy of life, which might be rooted in our religion of childhood or might be something different entirely. But when we expand our worldview to account for difficult experiences, we grow in resilience. Pluto's transit along your ninth house has been an opportunity for that. And you may even find that in the last 15 years, you've had revealed to you some painful things about the world at large that you didn't know before. And you've had to accommodate them in your worldview, and your worldview has transformed. So Pluto is going to be finishing out this house by the end of the year. That process is going to come to a close. And Pluto is entering the final phase this month, October 10th or 11th, depending on your time zone. And what's happening is that Pluto is going direct. It had a little red RX symbol, and then that goes away. Pluto is direct. So Pluto is finishing out his journey through your ninth house and through Capricorn. And so if this year, especially if this year you feel like you've been going through a deep, heavy transformation, like a long, dark night of the soul, where things are dark and mysterious and you don't know what you're changing into, and you are forced to simply trust the process, then this is the final leg of that journey. You're going to be coming out of the cave into the light pretty soon. And I think that is eminently to be looked forward to. So next I want to talk about Juno. Lighten up a little bit here, right? So in the beginning of the month, Juno is in the sign of Leo and traveling through your fourth house. Juno is such a social planet. She's an asteroid goddess, and her themes have to do with committed relationship and also matchmaking, networking, and being a social leader. She likes to connect people through warm connections that happen all on a level. And in passing through your fourth house, where she's been since last month, Juno has been maybe bringing up networking situations in your home and family life, potentially getting you into better connection with family members, maybe ones who live at a distance who you don't see very often. You might feel like you want to connect with them. You even want to network with them. Maybe there's somebody in your life elsewhere, not a family member, that you think should connect to this family member of yours. So that sort of matchmaking is really great to do while Juno is passing through the fourth house. Also, another great thing to do while Juno is in the fourth house, and she won't be there for more than half of this month. So if you haven't done it already, you might want to consider doing it. And that is to host an event of some kind in your home, which might mean cleaning, tidying, or organizing so that you can make your home into the showpiece that you really want it to be, Taurus. And what could be a better excuse than a nice festive occasion where your home just looks terrific and some of your favorite people are in it enjoying it with you. And I would definitely do that if I were you before Juno moves on out of the fourth house, which is going to be mid-month, right about here, October 17. See there, she's moved on into the fifth house, which is the house of fun, pleasure, play, entertainment. And this is a really great house for getting out and having fun with your partner. And if you do have a long-term committed partner, I'll bet that you have not been having enough fun with that person for some time. And this is a really great time to do it. Juno usually spends about 2 months in a given house. She enters into this house in mid-October and will be in this house through the end of November. So plenty of time to plan, some short pleasure trips, some entertainment to share with your partner. And that can really remind you of why you got together in the first place. Just relaxing, having fun, and goofing off together could be great. I want to talk now about Ceres. She's traveling along through your seventh house. She'll be in this house all month. And Ceres is all about the life of the body. Like how do you maintain your health routines, how do you eat, and how do you manage your money and keep things as secure and stable as you possibly can. While Ceres is passing through the seventh house, if you're single, you might find that interesting partner potential people show up on your view screen that are looking particularly solid. And they might be attractive for you to relate with, maybe just as a friend, maybe to fall in love with. But in any case, this being the house of partnership, you may find yourself surrounded by people who can stabilize you. And it might be really good to draw on them in whatever way is appropriate, like check in with your financial planner or your CPA and get your finances into better order by tapping that person as a consultant, another great seventh house theme. And the third piece of advice I'd like to add here is that when Ceres is in your seventh house, it's just a really great time to look to the shared life of the body that you have with whoever you partner with, a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, somebody that you live with, and to get into how can you share the cooking and eat in the way that works for both of your bodies, and just stabilize things in general, and feel like you're both really comfortably in your own skin in the relationship, and get a sense of partnership around that. It can be a lovely way to spend this Ceres passage through your seventh house. Hey, Julia, what's up with Venus, Mars, and Mercury this month for the Tauruses out there?
Well, hi there, Taurus. Let's begin with Venus, your ruling planet, who starts the month direct. She was retrograde last month, and that must have been a personally frustrating cycle for you because it is your ruling planet. Yeah, so this summer may have been a bit hectic, but things are moving along now, and Venus begins the month in your fourth house. This is a house of family and home, things that you care very much about, Taurus. And with Venus in this house, you're going to be kind of a homebody at the beginning of the month. If you want to hang out with people, you're going to want them to come to you. Venus in the fourth house is a wonderful time for getting along well with your parents and doing things to make your home more pleasurable. If that means making it more aesthetically pleasing or doing something like buying things to make the home more comfortable, I don't know, like a little neck massager or something like that. But you really just want to hang out at home because it just feels so good to be there. On October 8th, Venus enters your fifth house, and that's when you're going to want to leave more and to start going out. For the rest of the month, while Venus is in the fifth, it's a really good time for dating because this is the house that represents, casual love affairs which can one day turn into more serious stuff. Venus in the fifth house can also mean you're getting along great with your children, if you have any. And Venus in the fifth is wonderful for any artistic, creative things you like to do because Venus is so creative, and this is the house of creativity after all. Now, our friend Mars, the planet of action and activity, begins the month in his sixth house, in your sixth house. This is a house of your workplace. It's also a house of organization and health. So Mars in the sixth house can be a little bit frustrating with health things, especially chronic issues. If you have IBS, if you get migraines, if you have inflammation, Mars can aggravate these things a bit, but he's really only doing this so that you can pay more attention to your health. And he's also giving you the energy you need to set good routines to make your health better. It's also a time where you can be a little frustrated at the workplace too. But by October 11th, Mars is going to enter your seventh house. And so all of this feisty energy is going to go into your relationship. So if you are currently with a long-term partner, Mars in the seventh house might mean that you guys don't see eye to eye with each other, or maybe they're just annoying you a lot right now. However, if you can get into a shared project together, this would be the best use of the transit because the seventh house represents partnerships of all kinds. So whether it's a romantic partner, a business partner, a platonic best friend, try to find that other person and just get involved in some type of project, and you can get a lot of work done. Now, finally, Mercury, the planet of communication and mentation, also direct this month. He was retrograde last month, but he starts off in your fifth house. So again, this is a house of creativity, children, dating, which means you might be thinking a lot about dating. Maybe you start the month thinking about it, and then you start doing actual dating later on in the month when Venus comes into the fifth. Mercury in the fifth house might mean you're thinking a lot about children, or maybe connecting a lot with your own children too. Now, on the 4th, Mercury enters your sixth house. This is going to be a lot better than Mars in the sixth because Mercury naturally rules this house. So from the 4th onward, you could get a lot of things in your life really organized. Your mind is on your daily activities, your rituals, everything that you need to support yourself on a day-to-day basis is the sixth house. So great time for getting organized. Also a really good time at the workplace, especially if you do anything Mercury related, like buying and selling, teaching, communicating for a living, all of that kind of stuff, writing. Then by the 19th, Mercury is going to conjoin the Sun while direct. We call that Greater Epiphany Day. It's a time of insights and revelations. And this is happening in your sixth house. So these insights might be about your health. They might also be about work, or maybe what you have to do to get your life in more order, which is all about the sixth house. So keep track of that date, October 19th, and see what great insights might be happening around then.
Hi, Jamie here. Horoscopes and moon videos are fun, but they don't go very deep, really. If you want depth and personal clues, you'll want to join our monthly live workshop where you can talk with a real astrologer about your own chart. This month's topic is undergoing Pluto transformations with power and grace. Because Pluto transits feel like a long, dark night of the soul, and psychological death and rebirth is hard for all of us. In the workshop, I'll explain how to navigate these biggest of all life's changes smoothly. This workshop is expressly for our Demigod Patreon subscribers who pay only $15 a month for access to live events like this one. It's easy to sign up at the Patreon link in the description below. I'd love to see you there. Now let's get back to the video. Well, eclipse season is upon us. It has come yet again. It does come around about every 6 months. And we'll usually find that a couple of eclipses cluster together. Now, I think that there's a lot of fear and, dread when it comes to eclipses, but there doesn't have to be. They definitely can be handled. Some of them tend to be more intense than others. This month, we have got a solar eclipse followed by a lunar eclipse. The solar eclipse is happening October 14th, right here in Libra, in your 6th house. And eclipses generally force us to look at our shadow side, the side of us that we don't really like to look at very much. Maybe we'd rather ignore, hide, shunt aside. And solar eclipses in particular can make our shadow become apparent by how we behave. This one is landing in your 6th house. And so I think this is a really good warning. And it's a good thing this eclipse is happening on a Sunday, because your 6th house being the house of work, health, and service, this could have you behaving badly in the workplace if you do happen to be at work on a Sunday. So it's kind of fortunate it's happening on a Sunday, because then chances of bad behavior at work are maybe not so great. But I would watch out for them even as this eclipse is approaching during the week before. Oh, it's actually a Saturday. There it is. Yes, but still on a weekend. So we're calling this one Stop Placating, Honesty Heals. And we're calling it that because this is an eclipse in Libra, which is well known for being sweet to the point of being saccharine, and avoiding conflict to the point of being sneaky even, and just, trying to please people way too much. The fact that this eclipse is hanging out at the south node means that it's a releasing eclipse, and it's really important to let go and release bad behaviors, and just let them, move off and away, instead of acting them out during an eclipse like this. And also, it's important to look to the north node for the solution, the high road, if you will, as to what we should be doing instead. The north node in Aries, and also with Chiron here in Aries, is all about honesty, directness, transparency, forthrightness, clarity, and bringing some of that in is the absolute antidote to the bad behavior over here of, being nice, but in a way that just kind of manipulates people. So then the second eclipse that's happening is a lunar eclipse in Taurus. It's coming about 2 weeks later on the 28th. And this one falls in your 1st house, Taurus. And this is a lunar eclipse, which we know because it's built on a full moon. Sun and moon opposed each other is a full moon. And when a full moon happens near the nodes, the north node being here with the moon and the south node being here with the sun, well, then we know that it's an eclipse and not just any old full moon. This one we're calling Release Ties, Lean into Independence, because the sun in Scorpio is with the south node, and this is a financial axis of signs. Taurus has to do with one's own money, your own money, your own possessions, and the self-sufficiency that is involved with, having your own, and how it can bring you security. Whereas Scorpio is about the monies that you share with other people, maybe through inheritances, maybe through pooling your money with other people by buying, investing in stocks, or through taxes, insurance, or debt. So Scorpio is also a financial sign, but it's more about pools of money rather than one's own money, which is Taurus. So the fact that this sun in Scorpio is here with the south node suggests that this is a time to let go of and release ways that you've gotten entangled with people in your life around money, maybe through debt, maybe through family, maybe in your marriage or committed relationship, maybe through a joint lease, but there may be some form of financial entanglement that it's time to let go of. And this eclipse has a lot of harmony built right into it, which is terrific. This sun has lovely trines to Saturn and to Vesta. And then the moon also has a lovely sextile to Vesta and also to Saturn. And Juno's involved here too. Tons of harmony in this eclipse, which does suggest that it should be not too difficult to release and let go of those old ties, which might particularly be with family entanglements, financial entanglements with family, apron strings, those sorts of things that can be both financial and emotional at the same time, and which might lead to some emotions being stirred up on an eclipse like this, where really what you're supposed to do is lean into independence and autonomy as shown by that moon in Taurus with the North Node. And that is the high road in this eclipse. You can find out so much more about these eclipses by visiting our website, pandoraastrology.com, and checking out the monthly forecast page where we've got videos about these eclipses. And then the last thing I want to speak to is the seasonal change happening on October 23rd, depending on your time zone. Now, here we see that the sun has moved into Scorpio, and this is a new season, the season of Scorpio. And that happens, the sign changes around the 20th to the 23rd of the month every month. And it's really just a reflection of how earlier in the month, there was so much emphasis here in your 6th house of work, health, service, personal organization, which might have really had you, cleaning out that garage, setting up better systems at work, adapting to a new personal organization system, or trying a new calendar strategy, or cleaning up your contacts or your Rolodex. Some forms of organizational things may have really been on your mind earlier in the month while this 6th house was very full. But as things move on into the 7th house and the sun in particular, your mind goes over to relationships, and it becomes much more interesting to engage in the partnerships in your life, whether that's with a long-term partner or a spouse that you live with, or a co-parent, or even just a best friend that you talk with a lot and bounce ideas off of, that you mirror yourself with, or consultants that you may have meetings with, about things in business or in your personal life. For whatever reason or in whatever forum, the sun moving into the 7th house says this is a great month, beginning October 23rd, for putting high quality attention on partnerships and partners, which means not just grabbing all the attention for yourself and your own concerns and to make yourself look good, but to really put attention on that partner, which means, if it's your CPA, getting into a meeting with your CPA and really paying attention to what your CPA is telling you, and listening very carefully to their advice and reflecting their advice back to them to make sure you got it right, really having it be a dialogue, and getting everything that you can out of that advice. So the sun will be traveling along your 7th house for about 30 days. And this is just such a great 30-day period for cultivating your relationships of all kinds, because the sun is sunlight. It is the sunlight of high quality attention. Wherever you spread that sunlight around, you can find that things thrive and flourish, and your partners appreciate you, and your partnerships strengthen. And it's just such a great feel-good time for everybody.
Well, that's all for today. If you love Pandora Astrology's free and informative horoscopes, then please do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share our horoscopes with your friends.
You can find out so much more about how this month's transits affect you in very personal timing in our monthly Patreon workshops. Find the link in the description below to get started. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos.
Bye-bye.